let's continue with one of the most important things about C++ called programming, which is data types. We know the computer accepts input as data, and the data that the computer can accept, there are various types and how you can use them within the computer. There are certain types, you can perform certain operations on them. There are others, you can't perform the same operations on them. And these types of data in C++, they've been grouped into simple data type, which you may have integral, floating point, and enumeration. Talk about this shortly. You also have structured and then pointers. Okay. So when we say data types, the type of data, the computer can accept in your program or you can have within your program. And there are these three: simple, structured, and pointers. When it comes to simple, the simple ones, we have integral, floating point, and then enumeration. Now, let's take a look at the simple data types. Integral data type has to be about numbers. So 0, 1, from 0 up to 1, -1, and all that. And these data types, we have certain length that it comes with. For instance, you have int for an integer, long, bool, unsigned, char, unsigned, short, unsigned, int, and then char. We'll look at how to use these, in our program and when to use them. For instance, this is an integer or integral data type, which allow us to be able to assign integer to it. If I probably do 4.0 or 4.5, what will happen is the computer does not see this, the 4.5, because you are saying this is an integer, and this is not an integer. And so instead of, when you run the program, look at what happened. We still get the same thing, 3, 2, 2, and 74. The question is, so what happened? Now there's a little suggestion here. It's a warning: implicit conversion from double to int changes value from 14.5 to 14. Because he's saying that this, is integer, this variable is integer, the program automatically converted into an integer. Though what you have typed here is decimal. The integral part, we have char, short, int, and then these come with different sizes. We'll look at them too. The next simple type is floating point. You can think of floating point as the type that deals with decimal. So if we want our program to be able to, accept decimal like we have it in there, then we should look at floating point data types, which we use float, double, or long double. Like for instance, we can have float by a, which will be equals to 5.4, and we don't see the yellow squiggly line any longer because this accepts a precision, single precision for floating point. You can also have double, have long double. Look at how to use them. This is enumeration. This is a user-defined data type where you can say, I want to have an enumerated value. Don't worry, we'll just define some of them in our program shortly. But these are actually user-defined data type. So for instance, you may have a defined type as black, and the black will represent a number, or something like color, and then the color red will represent a certain code that will give you the actual color that can be used in the program. We'll define some of these and you understand, but think about this as the simple data types that we have within a computer program, and we'll be using a lot of these as we move on. Now let's look at the various differences between these types of data. So first of all, we have char, and if you want to know the size of char, it is just 1 byte. That is 8 bits length, character or integer 8-bit length, and this is signed and and then unsigned as well. That means it will be able to take numbers from -128 to 127, and this one starts from 0 to 255. We also have short, and the size is 2, and then the number of bits is 16 bits of integer. This is where it starts from, the signed, and this is unsigned. The signed simply means you can have the negative part of it, and then the unsigned, that is, you can have the sign start from the positive 0 up to 65,535, and you also have long, which is 4 bytes. Now, you see, the thing about the size is this: in a program, usually we make an input, and if you know the kind of input that the user might command or insert into our program, then you can use the appropriate data type to accept this input. Remember, the more size you declare, the more memory you use within your computer. So if you are seeing these bytes in here, remember that it will be using our storage space in the RAM. They represent units of bytes, zeros and ones, which will be registered within our RAM. And when it comes to int, okay, the reason why it is star is because it is dependent on the operating system. For instance, in MS-DOS, you have 32-bit systems like 98, 2000, and NT, okay? It had about 4 bytes. We also have float, long double. We have double, long double. It's just a double but extended byte. Bool is just one which takes true or false. These are the values, the range of values that you can have. And then WCHAR_T, white character. It's designed as a type of, store international characters of 2-byte character set. I'll show you how to use it. We can even use it to tell you the position of the character. Yes. Now, if you want to be able to know the size of these data type, you do not have to put them in your mind or put them in your mind or chew them. You can write the program to tell you the size of these data types so you can know which one to use.